Okay, good evening everybody and welcome to round 6 of the Swemp Electronics Football Alliance Division 2. You can see here, last time we had, generally a good day for the home teams, except Trumpton Vice squad continuing their 100% record away to Dalgety Rangers, and the Danglies, I could say they capitulated, but it was probably even worse than that against the wonderful Stackington Colliery with a 7-0 victory, turning around from previous weekend in the record defeat to the record victory. That's left the league table looking like this, with the Blues and Trumpton both on 100% records at the top of the league. Loads and loads of goals for most teams. As you can see, 76 is maybe going slightly against that as it is. And then down at the bottom of the table, OTs and Danglies, they've both scored, but they get to get off the mark on points. And so as we look into today's fixtures, we see that Danglies at the bottom of the table are home to the Blues at the top of the table. And the game that's probably attracting a bit of attention is 9th place Rugby versus 5th place Dalgety Rangers. And it's my pleasure to introduce Steve Wright, manager of Rugby FC, to this evening's commentary. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening. I'd probably say shaky manager at the minute. The board are asking questions of the amount of money they've pumped into this Galactico squad of theirs. So we'll be trying to get them back on side tonight.
Well, it's there's been a lot of promise, and there's still a lot to come from the side. I think it's a loss of confidence from the strikers, I think, isn't it? We'll have a look at that as we head into the matches. But let's get started. Our opening game is well, I was going to say pointless OTs. They're not pointless, but they just don't have any points in the league so far. Up against Atletico New Mills of Big Noopy. Third in the league, last time out, beat your side and played pretty well, didn't they?
Really, really impressive. I mean, obviously the squad's of a standard of what I've selected is probably barring Michael Hughes, but on the game seems to get a lot of love. Gets a lot of big moves during the game as well for quite a lot of money. So, but yeah, Noop's had a fantastic start, and long may it continue. I think he's a great lad as well. So, apart from when the reverse fixture when I play him again.
Yeah, maybe the respect will go out of the window at that point. But yeah, it's a decent lineup. He's not one for changing the system very much, is he? If this is working.
Yeah, you won't do, will you? Well, while you are winning, there's no point changing it up, especially with the limitations you've got in terms of player instructions, etc. While they're playing well, they're obviously suited to the instructions that are on the base tactic that you're using. So it's obviously working for the players in the positions, and keep it going until a decision has to be made. And all I will probably say is if he has one defeat, maybe not be so knee-jerk after one defeat, because I always think it could probably just be a blip. But he's got to be highly delighted with where he started the season so far.
Very much so, yeah. Third place, 13 points, an unbeaten record is really, really positive. And their squad, David Collins coming in for his first appearance today. Fabian Barthez, captain. Kiss and Mike Duff before kickoff on his head. The Oatcakes, the OTs, Mr. Intrinsic Larry. They're missing Baker today. He's suspended, so it's back to the formation that we have seen before. We'll have a quick look at that in a second. Last time out, beaten by Roundhay 4-1. Roundhay have had a 6-0 win this season, so it wasn't the worst result, really, was it?
No, definitely not. And to be fair, I've seen bigger scorelines against teams that haven't had so many fives in the lineup as well. So in terms of, I mean, the week before they were really close. I think was it a 1-0 defeat they got the week before?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they've. To be fair, it is showing that they can compete to an extent, and I do think it's probably just the lack of quality compared to the team he's facing at the minute. Because I think quite a lot of people have alluded to on Twitter that I think the Division 2 in terms of the squads that have been picked is probably a more difficult division to be heading to the top of. So there will come a point where it'll click, and that's a. I like what he's done with the arrow there on Graham Marchant. It's interesting.
It is the complete way of making sure you're sticking to the rules of 3 at the back and 2 out wide. But Marchant, the forward, playing there in defence due to a lack of fullbacks.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very good player. Everybody knows he's a very good player on the game, and it's an interesting. I have used him at wing back before and had some pretty decent results with him. So maybe, but then again, he is one. Is Mr. Larry talking about if you play players out of position, that they get they sort of get penalised for playing out of position for a lack of being able to play there. So maybe he's hoping that obviously would it mean the forward arrows are where you are with the ball. So he's hoping that he gets up there.
Put him back in those zones again, yeah.
Yeah, it's just if he's got the fitness to be charging up and down there like Ibrahim Said does for stacking.
Yeah, although he's suspended today, and last 2 games he's played, he's been a centre back, so something a bit different about him. Yeah, so heading into the game, we'll get kicking off. Any prediction for today as Rune Larsson referees?
Yeah, I mean, obviously looking at current form, can't see past Athletic, but I don't think it'll be an absolute drubbing for some reason. They've been pretty strong at home in terms of keeping sides at bay the best they can. So I'll go with a 2-0 Athletic win.
You heard it here first. Let's go. And straight away they're on the attack, and Collins put one just wide, and Michael Hughes as well. So that definitely the onslaught is starting already. A yellow card for Adamides. That's a little bit dangerous for them. And 10 minutes in, it's just calmed down that little bit, but they come forward, and Daniel Bent has scored the opening goal for the OTs, their second of the season, and the first time they've played a game, and he's done it again. 2-0. What is Fabian Barthez doing?
Wow.
It's a red card, and Adamides takes his second yellow already, and we're going to see a change. Now, we'll just see if we've got any injuries first of all for the team. There aren't any. So now really it's a case of sticking to those rules and just to see what can be done. Centre-backs on the bench, there's none. So that straight away changes things up a little bit, doesn't it? There are no centre backs. I mean, do you think he'd be one to want the other side, the other winger, Killochery, whatever he's called, to do the same run, or would he want 2 centre backs?
I mean, when you are up against such a dangerous attacking side,
to defend.
Yeah. For me personally, it would be one of the front 3, but I know he's a big advocate of the front 3 playing.
I'm thinking currently maybe to just drop Whitley and drop Jackson one space further back.
Yeah, so the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to lose the power of the DM position, does he? So no. I think that's probably a wise thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, especially with having no centre backs on the bench. So I mean, to do something like that might be just a way of countering it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we've done our best there, Larry. Unfortunate 2-0. Adamides, that early yellow card, has really backfired with his second one. So will Newmills get back into this game? Yes, straight away. Veron scores. It was a free kick, I think, from that one. Straight back in, 3-1, 2-1. But the OTs haven't given up their attacks. The game has gone a little bit quiet at the moment. Atleti pushing for one before half-time maybe, but no, Barthez almost lobbed and makes a good save, and at 49 minutes we're still going in the first half. Van Nistelrooy with a chance, and Saeed with the equaliser. It's been a frantic end to that first half. What was that, about 145 minutes?
Yeah, even though there were a lot of grey involved there, they've done really well, I thought, is to hold on. I've always been a big advocate myself of getting a red card doesn't always necessarily negate your team, but all credit to Athletic for punishing the red card, and looking at how it's going, I think it'll be difficult for us to hold on from here.
Yes, yeah, you can imagine it was tricky enough at 11. You'd imagine the task, but yeah, 2-0 up went so well, didn't it? San Nazario into Marchant. Marchant's come forward, crossed it in, and Bent scored the first one. And then for the second, the other Graham, Killochery, whatever, has crossed it in, and Bent scored 2 headers past Barthez. But then Adamides, another clattering someone, getting a second yellow with probably his only 2 fouls of the game. Veron with a free kick. And then for the look at the amount of injury time we've had there, Delivio's corner and Saeed has equalised, and there's still enough time for a yellow card for David Collins. The Oties, yeah, good first half, got to say. Adamides had won 6 out of 6 tackles, never mind putting in 2.
Yeah, I think to have still have the 8s in there as well. Neil Aspin, the old guy, the old guard at the back, is doing his best to keep everything in tow. But again, I'd have been so interested to see what would have happened if that red card hadn't occurred.
Yeah, that would have been a real battle, wouldn't it? It seems almost like a foregone conclusion. You know, they're level at half time, but we just can't see it staying. I mean, it'd be great for them if they can do something from it. Atletico Newmills, they haven't really broken sweat too much, have they? So they've got a lot of energy left and are really on the ascendancy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they do look like they have got a little bit more to give in terms of the ratings when you've only got one of them on an 8. Barthez has obviously redeemed himself enough from picking up from that 5 from the start of the game. He's coming back into it a little bit. So if he shows himself up, and it seems like a lot of the things are going through Michael Hughes, they get the ball to Hughes. I'm sure they can conjure up another goal or 2 here in the second half.
We'll get straight into that and see how it goes. They're on the attack immediately and almost making it 3-2 straight away in the second half. And they come forward, and Michael Hughes has got that breakthrough, and they're back in. Well, they're in front for the first time this game, and probably not going to look back with the number of attacks they're having. It's time for the substitutes. Michael Jackson, yeah, it has been a bad performance from him. Where are we looking at for substitutes for OTs? If the keeper is on a 6 or below, he is not. But I'd imagine that Bent is carrying some form of injury, yes. So we'll remove Bent after his 2-goal haul, and it's time to bring on Agote for the substitute there, the only change that they will be making. And for Newmills, they've got the substitutes here. Kesman for... No, that's the wrong team, isn't it? That's the wrong team. Kesman. Giggs for Elmander or Hughes. Let's have a look at how they're doing. If Hughes is injured, nope, he's not injured. He's scored a goal. Yeah, I'd imagine that. Yeah, it would be to take off Elmander, wouldn't it, if Hughes has scored the goal?
Yeah, he's had a lot of involvement, and he's got
yeah.
He's got his foot on the ball quite a lot, making quite a lot happen. It seems his name's mentioned quite a lot, so he's obviously more in the game. And I can't remember seeing Elmander's name at all in reality. So he's done well.
No, I don't know where the assist has come from. And then their other substitution would probably see Sigalko for Collins. Yeah, Collins has taken a yellow card. I think it would be to take Sigalko off for Collins and to make a substitution, just make a quick swap over with Sigalko up front there. Okay, and back on with the action. Sigalko coming forward, and Giggs has made it 4-2. I think we're looking at it being sorted now, aren't we? Very much done. OT's not disgracing themselves. They're still coming forward with another chance. But there we are, goal number 5, Veron. And they're probably going to look for a 6th. You can imagine they're just not giving up whatsoever. It's blue after blue on here. Phillips is doing a decent performance to keep the score down. And what a change it's been there. Van Nistelrooy getting goal number 6. And right at the end, another chance for Hughes. And it's full time. Yeah, Adamides, disappointing for him. And the team have really been let down by that.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I did say, looking at the ratings, that Athletic did have a lot more to give, a lot of 6 goals, like a lot of 6s and 7s. And then when you look at the ratings that finished on 8s, 9s, 10s, they really went up into 5th gear and put the pressure on the Otis, who, in my opinion, they are going to get a result at some point. They just need a couple of little things to go their way, and I won't be surprised to see them getting a couple of wins throughout the season.
Yeah, they've been let down by 2 red cards in 2 games. really. It's look at the number of tackles that Neil Aspin put in during that game. 14 tackles, 7 of which were key.
That's superb numbers, isn't it? If everybody was seeing that from a Neil Scally in midfield or an Isaac Cocker-Ronco at centre back, they'd be screaming from rooftops. So well played to Neil Aspin in that game.
Yeah, those stats being better than his passing, pretty much. So yeah, fantastic to see that there are some individual performances within this team. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 8s there for a team that's been beaten 6-2, and then for Atleti, they've still got a couple of 6s within their performance.
Yeah, well, Rio Ferdinand's not won so many of his tackles. Only winning 2 out of his 5. I think he's. But then again, he's not had his foot on the ball overly much as well. 17. It obviously shows, looking at the passing numbers, a lot of the players in the second half have played sort of in and around the midfield and up in the Otis end. So again, it's probably a bit more difficult. They didn't have any chances at all in the second half, so I think it's difficult to call a defender for getting a 6 when he's had nothing to do as well.
Yeah, it did go a bit quiet for them at the end, didn't it? Well, we started off with 8 goals. We're giving you entertainment from the off. Into game number 2, and we're with the Trumpton Vice squad, who, as we saw, are on a 100% record, up against Real Eno Chance, who lost their last game, losing goalkeeper Mark Bosnich and getting beat by the team that sit there at the top of the league, the Dublin Blues. What do you make of the team so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Matt's giving himself no chance with his name, but he's got a really strong squad. It is showing. I mean, obviously looking at that again, red cards are becoming a bit of a hindrance to teams. But I think obviously looking at that, really solid squad. I think he's 3 centre backs. To be fair, Gareth Southgate, for me, he's very, very good on a first season save as well. He's always up there if you ever look in the scout of his percentage in terms of all round. He's always up there. He's always on the first page anyway. So I don't think there's much strengthening he can do. I probably would maybe play Rio Ferdinand over maybe Hippier for me personally. But he's got a really good rounded squad. I really like the formation. It's really attacking. I sometimes at home, when I'm just having an easy save, I play it with 2 at the back and 3 at the top. So it's a formation that creates chances. It's got quite a lot of goals in it.
Yeah, quite a lot of goals, and they did score 5 in one game earlier this season. They've got a 4 and then 3 1s. So they've scored every game, but they've been a bit hit and miss on how attacking they are. But 6th in the table, 10 points so far. They're looking good. But of course, they've got a real challenge today, haven't they? Up against the Trumpton Vice squad, who you know quite well already this season.
Yeah, fairly comfortable when I played them in the cup at the start of the season, and then absolutely played off the park by them when I played them in the league. So again, a really strong squad going on. I think to get a result against Dalgety, who are again a really strong side, who in all the test saving were always up there. I'm a little bit surprised by that, if I'm honest.
It's a new team, isn't it? New setup.
Yeah, obviously with the way they've been playing, to change it up that much, especially for a home game, I can understand it if we were going away trying to protect an unbeaten record. The arrows will obviously push the midfielders further up. But yeah, it does seem a bit edging on the side of caution a little bit for me.
Yeah. I mean, mostly, if these arrows weren't there, you'd be thinking, well, set up to part of the bus. But yeah, maybe we're going to get something. Ray Parler, he's performed pretty well so far this season. Will he be one of those to get a goal? He surprised us last week in selection and did a quality job. So let's see. Segalco doesn't want to be left too much on his own, does he up front? No Bergkamp today, and Klaas Carlson refereeing. We'll see. This is a pretty evenly matched game. You can just look at those teams and think there's a lot of evenly matched players. Patrick Vieira, hard to work out who's better. Let's go. From Camberwick Green. And the chances already a yellow card for Ugo Echiog as Robin comes forward, puts one over. And Robin heavily involved already this game. He's had quite a bit. And Taribo West going off early on. Okaronko, obviously the ready-made substitute at this position. Let's just have a quick look. A potential knee injury for Taribo West. You won't really be left without him for too long.
No, definitely not. But let's be honest, he's not losing much really by bringing Okoro is he? So I'm sure because he's obviously got that left, right, centre ability as well. His defence still looks as strong to me as it did before the injury, which is obviously unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. Sigalko's come forward, had a chance. It's definitely much more Trumpton on the attack. With this this setup, it could be a masterstroke if this continues. Agahawa's put one just wide. Really not getting in with any chances, as their name would suggest, but then suddenly they've come to life a little bit. And we've gone to little bits of quiet periods during the middle of these things. On the attack again, a free kick involved. And 10 minutes before the end of the first half, Patrick Vieira, for really no chance, comes off. And this is where you would say, yes, the team has been weakened for a player going off injured.
Definitely, I've fallen foul of it in the league so far. My bad form has totally coincided with Vieira getting injured. So I think it's pretty straightforward, really. Though with who you bring in, obviously, I think Lee Bowie stats lend him to be able to play.
Yeah. I mean, the other alternative is, of course, the option of Rio Ferdinand with pushing Southgate into midfield. But yeah, I think Bowyer just offers them that little bit more attacking that Vieira would do as well.
Indeed.
So onwards, two teams making a substitute in the first half. And the game's gone a little bit flat towards the end, just as we've lost two key players to the game. But going through, Kewell's put one just wide, and then Trumpton on the attack as well, with chances. Agahawa team's a bit wasteful in the first half with their chances. We've had 8 shots and only 3 of them on target.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they were really, really Trumpton were all going on there, and I thought they were going on too much. But then, when you're playing the game, there seemed to be that much of it. Then when really come back in, I thought this stinks of a sort of sucker punch goal against a run of play. But when you look at that, it's been fairly even. I know Trumpton have had 5 attempts, but really having a bit better of it, having an extra one on target.
Yeah, action area is pretty similar. Trumpton just keeping the ball a lot through this. With West's injury, Robin looking a little bit precarious at the moment. Just thinking about Trumpton's subs. Anything catching your eye there?
I mean, obviously Vieira. He as he stepped up to that 8 since his action emphasis off the other side's gone. Maybe so, but again, a lot like I played in the last game. They've got a lot more to give considering where they are in the league and how they've been playing. Be a bit disappointed with the 6 for Parlour and Sigalko, but he's barely had the ball at his feet as Parlour. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting second half. Like I said, really got back into it a little bit, and I think I can see this maybe playing out to be a draw with the big amounts of pausing periods. So.
Yeah, it's very well poised at the moment, isn't it? Neither team's really taking advantage. Robin is carrying a potential injury, but having made that one sub already and him only being on 86, I think it's probably best to give him till 60 minutes, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I certainly would. I mean, obviously looking at who he's got available, you're obviously looking at Thomas Rosicky, but I'd certainly be squeezing what I can out of him, as you know, with my substitution.
you are, you're not quite anti-substitute, but we know we've got a similar kind of situation here. Really, you're a side who, at half time, they want to take off anybody who is on less than a 6. So, they'll be taking off Ugo Ehiogu. He's on the yellow card. It would make sense to be taking him off now at this point. So, Rio Ferdinand gets onto the pitch anyway. And we'll go to 60 minutes. They will not, unless it's enforced now, be making another substitution because they want to see the maximum of 2. Back in we go. And we've had the ball end to end straight away at the beginning of the second half. And Trumpton coming forward, Sigalko denied with a chance there. Trumpton sort of taking a bit more control at this point, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it did look like Robin had come flying out of the blocks right at the start with a chance, but I do think a lot of the sort of it shows with the action zones at these formations. It's why there's a lot of play in the middle of the field. To be fair.
So we got here that there are, well, I would say there are 2 potential injuries here to have a look at. I think we're not just on one anymore, are we?
I mean, I wouldn't have assumed that Robbins is, considering he were only on 60. He were only on 86 to start with. Oh, he has, yeah.
Yeah, he had one at half time. So it was just continuing for that little bit. But then it, Veron's got one as well. I think in terms of these, I mean, he is one that says make the potential injury substitute. So they are both less than 83% as well. So they hit 2 criteria. Just checking to see what happens. If Robin comes off, then Okoronkwo at left back. Well, we've had to bring Okoronkwo on at centre back, haven't we, so far? So we won't be doing that. They're not winning anyway. Henri, if losing, Henri will come on for Robin and go to attacking mid with there's a lot of conditions on this one, with an arrow to centre forward if losing. They're not losing, so yeah. And the other substitution here, Veron would be. I mean, Veron's Rosicki, isn't it? There's nothing else.
Yeah, that's really good. I like Rosicki on this game. I've got a lot of time.
Yeah, actually, there is one here saying if Ray Parler comes off, then put Saeed at defensive mid and push Vieira to centre mid. Now, I know Veron's doing it, but the suggestion of if a centre mid's coming off, put Vieira further forward and bring on Saeed. So I think that will be the way. Yeah, I think that's going to be the way.
I think it's just considering the formation he's playing and considering how balanced the game is. That's where it makes it a little bit difficult.
Yeah. In fact, we're not losing. Parler's more of a defensive one. Yeah, we'll do the Rosicki one because it's an attacking player, isn't it? Veron was more attacking. So to do it that way.
Yeah, definitely. I certainly would. I mean, I'm sure, obviously, we when you're looking at trying to get a result, especially considering the form he's in, I think it's worth a go. Keep your foot on the floor and try and win the game.
Yes, yeah, I think that's probably the best options I can do there, substitute wise, based on the conditions. I do like having conditions though to do things. If people are specific, then let's go for it. Last half hour of the game, Henri taking a touch straight away, Rosicki getting an early yellow card, and Njai with a nutmeg there, using his skills. Going forward, 20 minutes left, Henri getting very involved, and Sigalko with a chance. Hoopy has put one just off target there, I think it was as well. And they are looking a bit more threatening still, Trumpson. Can they get themselves into this game? Or are really just holding? Oh, they've had a chance there as well, coming forward. So we're into those last 5 minutes of normal time. Still no goals. Quality game going on for it. And Harry Kewell gets the breakthrough for Real E. And that's there. It's one of the records has gone. Vieira's 10 is not good enough for the match, and Real E have pulled off a great escape there.
I just felt like the longer it went on, with the amount of red and yellow, and then with a creeping in of Real E colours, it just smacked of a Championship Manager special. I wouldn't say a champion at all, but one of them little goals that causes you to throw mouses and throw your fist through your laptop, and depending on the level of the game. But yeah, it's a fantastic win for Matt, though. I think he'll massively take that, considering if you're watching the game, regardless of looking at the stats, if you're looking at the game as it was, you'd take that all day long.
Yes, yeah, especially they lost one of their key players early on into the game. They've managed to hold on without Vieira. So yeah, the late goal there, Veron heavily involved, puts it in towards Kewell, and Kewell with a simple finish to describe there. Let's have a look at their team first, the winning side. Yeah, Veron has led by example there as captain and pulled off a great performance for himself, but there are quite a few. Richard Wright doing well for clean sheet on his debut.
Yeah, and obviously Rio Ferdinand coming on, getting an 8. Again, that, especially with him having the yellow, but that 5 for Yugo were definitely very dangerous. But again, solid. But if you look, there's still quite a few sixes in there, a couple of sixes in there, sorry. So that's the epitome of really grinding a result out. Fair play to Matt.
Yes, yeah, very well done. Obviously, Richard Wright did make his debut last time out as a substitute, but it's his first start of the season there. And for Trumpton, yeah, again, you look at it, and the team have performed reasonably well and have just been done by that sucker punch.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think for me personally, I would have had a Riziki on instead of Robin and left it as it was with how dominant it was. I don't think after playing the updates, etc., I don't like an AMR or an AML. I just think it doesn't give you enough stability in the middle of the field. But again, obviously, the manager's choices to do what they want to do, and who can argue with anything he's done so far. I mean, if you just look though, he's only had the ball at his feet 8 times. Maybe because he hasn't had the ball, that's probably why he hasn't performed so well. Bit disappointing in Parlour as well, considering a couple of 8s.
Yeah, praising his performances before kickoff.
But yeah, I mean, a solid enough performance all the way around. Again, I'd probably say, looking on the face of it, a draw would have been an okay result. They probably deserved it on the edge of play, but I'm sure he'll go again. I'm sure he'll bounce straight back from it.
Yeah, good. A good 0-0 until that last minute, and then a winner comes in. So yeah, we've had 8 goals and a 1-goal game. Back into the action. Grove versus Roundhay, and Roundhay Park Avenue, as we saw last time out, they beat Otis. Previous game to that, they had a 6-0 win, 4th in the table, doing well there on 12 points with 4 wins and 1 defeat. And the team lined up, I think it's a little bit more defensive than last time.
Yeah, they've normally got an AM in there, haven't they? It does seem a little bit of a theme going through tonight so far. There's still plenty of quality. I mean, you do know. I know we were discussing it on a 4 across, but on a 4-1-3-2, them arrows, they do get your players in good attacking positions. And the 3 that he's got there, we all know are absolutely superb in the game. I mean, that, to be fair, behind that, that's an absolute wall of attrition in there. You've got Roy Keane and Vieira, and then you got Ferdinand and Campbell behind. I think that's a really solid square of a defensive setup, which you can definitely see why he's done it. So again, being a home team though, I just think it's a little bit on the cautious side from being a home team. I do think you get a slight little bit of leeway on the game with being at home, personally.
Yeah, and sort of almost true to life, isn't it? Really, with that, I do actually think it was a 4-1-3-2. I think they had 2 strikers previously, and have dropped one just to check from last game's setup. Yep, 2 up front and 1 defensive mid. They've just gone for something a little bit more stable, and I think this, in a way, it's credit to Grove that this has happened, because their team has been causing some shocks at the moment. I think last time out, the draw with 76ers.
Yeah, Dario Silva straight off the bench for a yellow card and straight with a late goal. Obviously, I think it's a really, really solid team. A Grove. I mean, obviously, Alexis Merton is a very, very solid player. The Portsmouth sort of theme through it, I'd probably say, barring maybe Merson, the players that are there are strong enough on the game to have a really good solid side. So it's going to be an interesting game, especially with that front triangle up against them back 4. I just think they might come a little bit unstuck against the strength of them, to be fair.
Yeah, it's but Dario Silva certainly warranted his place in that team, hasn't he? A goal in each sub appearance so far, with Andy Cole dropping to the bench. We've got one of your favourites, Steve Finnan, playing in the team as well. I know you're a fan.
Massive fan of Steve Finnan, mate. Really am. A fullback, not so sure. I'm not even sure if he can play that well.
I think it might well be a 1 in that position.
But I think looking at the options he's got available, you've got to have him on the pitch for my liking, because he's. I just think he's absolutely superb.
This kind of just tells the story, doesn't it? A 5.4 in that.
Yeah, I think it sort of alludes to Larry's intrinsic comments though about playing a position getting penalised, because you're never going to see a 5.4 at Steve in a month of Sundays.
No, unexpected. Kenneth Peterson referee in this game, and we're going to get going. Just to look at the teams, I don't think is this. Oh, yep, Sol Campbell is the common link between the two first teams here. Let's go. I said, let's go. We're a few minutes in and not much had gone on there. A gap getting involved for round here at this point. Sol Campbell, Joe Cole, 1-0. Connection going on there well, and 2-0 immediately. Van Nistelrooy. I don't think Grove probably expected this to hit them so quickly. 2-0 up.
No, I think it was by mistake as well. I don't know why, because it clicked straight onto round there. I assume they were at home, so it's obviously vindicated in setting up a little bit stronger from a team that's been really dangerous.
Yes, yeah. I don't know why we both just went blindly down being the home team, didn't we? Van Nistelrooy is causing quite a lot of problems here. Smirty's taking a yellow for Grove. He's going to have to be very, very careful. And Rui Costa made it 3, but it was disallowed. We've got Vieira on a yellow card now. So the two holding midfielders, we're expecting a Roy Keane on surely at some point during the game. Every 3 minutes to go till half time. Can they get a third, or will Grove get back into it? We're being left on a cliffhanger, but no, half time. Roy Keane not playing so well for round here so far.
No, the person that wasn't has actually dropped off for Grove. I know we're talking about round there. We'll just keep an eye on Steve Finnan, or we're on a 7 at some point. But look at them stats there. They're really, regardless of it being a defensive setup, they're obviously creating a lot of chances, probably playing a lot of it right down the middle of the park, where I just think they've got a little bit more strength over players like your Mersons, your Sherringham's and the likes. So I think James got to be really, really happy with where he started this game.
Yeah, I think in terms of your analysis before the game, I think you've pretty much summed up what was going to be happening. But yeah, Sol Campbell. Sol Campbell's done extremely well there to try and play Rui Costa in, but finding Joe Cole with his pass. So must have been one of those no look passes. And then Vieira has got the cross in after making a great turn and a ball into Van Nistelrooy for a header. So yeah, well done to probably 2 unexpected assisters so far. Paul Merson, just as you called, not having the best of games.
No, and especially when you look at his options on his bench, when you've got Patrick Berger, who is better. I won't go as far to praise him that highly on the game, but he is certainly a better option in my opinion. But at the end of the day, it's what it is. It's his concept. It's players he's liked and enjoyed watching for Portsmouth. So obviously he's going to get his. He's going to play it the way he wants. David Unsworth's having a really solid game. To be fair, doing really well. I think they need to get ball to D'Alessandro a little bit more to try and create a little bit for him.
Yeah, he's not, from what you can see there, he hasn't had the ball very much at all, has he? But he's useful with what he's doing with those 11 out of 13 passes. And for round here, Van Nistelrooy looks like he's taken a bit of a knock.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing extremely well with probably, I mean, if you look, there's not a lot, apart from Vieira, they've just been really effective with what they've had with the ball, rather than, let's say, there's no massive numbers there. So it just proves that the way it's set up, it's just been really solid and really effective, and everything they're doing is coming off as opposed to fighting for it. But yeah, interesting to see what's wrong with Mr. Rude there, because I'd probably say he's probably the most copied throughout the leagues, I would have thought.
I think there are 8 Van Nistelrooys. So it's either 8 or 9 is the absolute top for any player. Van Nistelrooy will come off here. We've got half-time, potential injuries. I know we've got another few, but it would be, a bit unwise to make any of the other 3 that look like they're carrying knocks as well at this point. But Van Nistelrooy at 78%. Thierry Henry's a ready-made replacement.
Yeah, I think you don't want to go a bit too gung-ho when you're making changes when you're 2-0 up as well. I don't like making more than one change at a time. And so I know there's a lot of people that do feel that way. There's some people that just like going gung ho and making three at a time. And I just think it can, especially if you're winning, it can disrupt your team too much. It's okay if you're chasing a game, but yeah, keep it solid. Let somebody find the feet, get 60 minutes, and see where they're at from there.
And you just know if you do make 3 subs, your goalkeeper goes off injured or sent off a few minutes later. So as we saw in one of the games recently as well, into the second half, and Henri has had a chance, and he's not quite warmed himself up as Berkovic has pulled one back for Grove, and is bringing the second half into quite the battle.
Yeah,
definitely on the attack.
They've really come out of the blocks really well. I'm sure if they try and get some ball to Dario Silva, he can make a bit of an impact like he has been doing.
Yeah, he is going to come off though. He is going to be removed from the pitch. I do think here. Looking into any sort of injuries here, Teddy Sheringham is just tired, so he's not going to come off. Yeah. So if no goal for Dario Silva, bring on Cole, and it will be that they will remove anyone lower than 6s. There's no one lower than 6, or the worst attacking midfielder, which, I mean, I don't think it would be wise to remove the attacking midfielder here. We've got Sheringham's on it. Well, Sheringham's tired. I know he's playing well, but if you're going to remove one attacking midfielder, Berkovic has scored and is a lot fitter.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if that's what you were going to do, say with Berkovic or Sheringham, for me, it'd be probably a Tim Sherwood on, and then a D'Alessandro up, or but yeah, they're both playing well enough. I do personally, I think it's a little bit harsh on Dario Silva considering the impact he's had on the game.
Yeah.
But should he be starting on the bench and continuing his form that way? You're leaving a Solskjaer and league, so
yeah. But there's no call for a reshuffle in terms of players, so it would be a Berger on situation. Sheringham at 80%, I think. It does seem like it's the right one rather than Berkovic, who is on a 7 but has the more energy.
Yeah, I think it's just his Zimmer frames getting to everything about, isn't it? So,
yeah, I will switch obviously these two within there. Berkovic being able to play both feet, and Berger left of the two. For round here, they've already made 1 sub, but to have a quick look at what's going on there, yeah, they've got those players who are struggling somewhat. We will look at a change, and it's 2 of those. The 2 at 77, Rui Costa's foot, and Cole, no, just tired. So Rui Costa becomes the one that comes off, and that is Perez to come on. So
Lord.
Let's get going. I've said that a few times. You can hear yourself say those certain phrases, can't you, all the time. We're nearly 65 minutes in, and the chance is certainly much more falling to Grove than they were before. They're looking dangerous at this point. Round here, obviously just 1 chance away from extending that lead, but Cole's had a chance there, Andy Cole. And if anybody's going to score at the moment, you'd be backing Grove. And they do. D'Alessandro scores, and it's 2-2. And it's a great comeback for Grove. They just don't know when to give up. Vieira's put one wide for round here. And any chance of a winning goal? Potentially. Andy Cole, D'Alessandro, Henri coming off injured. And at this point, well, forward-wise, Didier Gat can play up front, and Carragher can play right back.
That'd probably be a sensible thing to do, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it's the only one where it's a natural change. And Henri going off injured. I did do the right thing there. Yeah, Carragher, good. Will it make any sort of difference? It's going to be a tight end to this game and a chance, but nothing. It's a 2-2 draw, and absolute credit to Grove there for that comeback.
Yeah, well, fantastic game for the neutrals as well. I mean, it was just Perez as well. We're just making that little bit of a run into the Grove end towards the end as well, where he could have gone. It felt like, even though it's only on 93, it felt like it was another one that a lot of stoppage time before. I think that was just making up for the first 20 minutes that passed by with no action. But
yeah, hoping something would
massive,
happen during the game.
just massive credit to Grove. But if the form he's been in, if Dario Silva were on the end of that Andy Cole chance at the end, would he be walking away with a 3-2 win?
No, because he's only got one leg. I'm sorry, had to be said. We've got here a Berkovic volley. So Mark Hughes special there from a Sheringham cross for the first goal. And for the second goal, the equalising one, D'Alessandro, he's getting on the end of a loose ball after it seems like it's cannoned off Rio Ferdinand into the path of D'Alessandro. And yeah, great comeback for Grove. Let's have a look at what's really changed about them. Paul Merson playing a little bit better. Berkovic, I think the decision to keep him on and take Sheringham off probably did turn out to be the right one.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, I've always found that he's a very good player especially season 1 and 2 on the game, depending on where you play and sort of the system that you put him in. Obviously, being in an AMC rather than playing him back in centralised position really suits him. And massive credit to Grove for the way they've come back into the game with a perceived weaker squad, but they've got the players in there that can mix it.
Unsworth with a cracking game there as he had a good first half and continued it through the second. Henri there, 28% with a thigh injury. Could just be a dead leg.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that screams out to me just looking at them ratings, it does look at how much pressure Grove did put on round there, looking at Van der Sar with a 9. So it's really good for James that he kept them in the game. And yeah, a little bit. You're looking. There's not a poor performance apart from Roy Keane. There isn't a poor performance in there either. So will he be a little bit disappointed from being 2-0 up? I'd certainly say so. But from the pressure that it looked like Grove on, I think he's gone from wanting the 3 points to be really happy.
Lucky to hold on. Yeah, yeah, definitely happy with a draw in the end. We'll get James's opinion. He's on the show coming up soon, so it'll be interesting to see what he thinks about his team start to the season, which has been strong. And it just shows with Grove 3 draws in a row against teams that are perceived to be better. This is a team that they're going places despite the lack of points.
Yeah, they've got a lot of good mentality in there with some of the players they've got.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And the Portsmouth, the Pompey spirit is going forward. So from a team of Portsmouth players to a team of Swansea players, Sons of Gondor, the season hasn't quite worked out so well. And you can see here that we've got Roger Freestone suspended for today. So a real blow to them in their chance against 76ers, a team that don't usually score many goals. Last time that defeat to Uracas, and today they've gone with this team, which involves enforced changes rather than ones of just tactical.
Yeah, I mean, Freestone is obviously been absolutely fantastic for him throughout the season so far. He's going to be a really, really big loss. But yeah, Willie Guerre is a reasonable deputy. I know he's obviously conceded 3. One of them what have been his fault from penalty spot from the red card.
Yeah.
I think Fortuna alluded to it as well when he's on. James Thomas, he does have very, very good saves in him. So if he falls across obviously I'm going to assume that he's the only James Thomas in here. So he will have the original one that's got potential to get amongst the goals. And I mean, to be fair, it's a real strong squad in terms of if you played with that squad in a home save in say Division 1, you'd be there or thereabouts fighting for promotions. Van der Gun, a little bit hit and miss for me when he plays well and when he doesn't. I've had really good numbers out of him at AMC scoring goals, but he seems to have a reasonable. Yeah. Let's say about him the better.
That is his issue. That is the issue. It's the temperament, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never seen it myself because. And obviously, I don't know his reasoning why, but I've never overly seen it. There's been a couple of players recently and people in the community and a couple of things in the league here that they've been a bit out of character from what I've seen of players, but a few people have had the same with them. So it's it's a strange one. But yeah, I mean, looking at that, he's obviously got some pretty decent substitutes to come on. Mamadi Sidibe's got a good rep on the game, and Stuart Roberts always gets good moves, and he's always one you can pick up really cheap, and he's got really good attributes. So yeah, I'm interested to be interested to see where they go from. Like I said, they had a strong-ish start considering, didn't they? And just sort of gone off a little bit, in terms of
it's just the 1 point so far, though, isn't it? They have played, some very strong opposition.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, that's what I was saying. They're keeping themselves in game against strong teams, but I think it goes back to what we were saying beforehand, where, in my personal opinion, in terms of the whole teams across it, this is probably a stronger league than the first one, than the Division 1.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, if you put probably the top 7 in Division 2 and the top 5 of Division 1 together, you would get some very strong teams. But yeah, it's slightly heavier loaded towards Division 2. 76ers, I mean, for all we can say about their league performances at the moment, they're in a cup final.
Yeah, definitely. You can't obviously knock where they're going there. I mean, you have to beat what's in front of you, like they did the last time out. Mike Duff with a superb performance, which obviously everybody knows he's got in his locker. He has got goals in his locker, and they obviously beat me in the quarterfinal quite convincingly. So
I won't click on it. You're all right.
Oh, I can still see the score there. I didn't score any, so I'm not interested in any of the goal scorers. But yeah, that back arrow from Takinari seems to be working out really well for him, filling in a defensive role when they haven't got the ball. For me, Van Bommel is one of the only DMCs that I like playing in MC. There's not many of them at all. There's probably Steven Gerrard, and I can't think of any more off the top of my head. For me, Del Piero is a bit iffy, in my opinion. I'd probably rather have had a Rui Costa without an arrow on, trying to create something. So you're probably more likely for Costa to create than Del Piero to score, in my opinion. But apart from that, really strong squad. And they're obviously going into every game with an ability to win out there. So
yeah, just that lack of goals so far, just the 5 league goals, despite the fact they're scoring for fun in the cup. This one promises to give us something out of it. I think there'll be, I'm going to go say 4 or more goals in this game. Let's hope so. Here we go. We've got immediately a chance there. Sigalko coming forward, causing problems. And Mark Van Bommel, your favourite defensive midfielder in centre mid, has scored the opening goal of the game. James Thomas coming forward, Van der Hoorn as well. And chances for Gondor coming through. But 76ers immediately went on the attack and forced a save out of Guerre. Quarter of an hour in. 76ers with probably the slight advantage. Obviously, they got the goal, but just edging the possession as well. We've got to 25, a yellow card for Andy Melville. That's going to be an issue going forward, I think. And a yellow card for Makaleli as well. They're starting to lose their discipline a little bit as 76ers just turning the screw that little bit more, forcing their way forward. Makaleli, I'm sure, was involved in something again.
It does feel like there's a lot happening. It feels like it's taken a long time to get to where we are in the game. So
it certainly does.
Good game.
And a chance for Gondor with Lampard coming close to scoring an equaliser. And you can see Willie Guerre has had to be on top form as he's made 5 saves so far.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you're coming in from, he's deputising for a really informed Roger Freestone, and you can't ask any more than that from how he's played. There has been a bit of an onslaught, but again, 9 attempts, 6 on target. If you're 76ers, are you still a little bit worried about that lack of goals, the lack of attempts they've had?
Yeah, well, you do have a point, don't you? It's just 1 from everything they've had, and it was a really early chance in the 3rd minute. A good save, Del Piero, a chance, a good save from Guerre, but the defence just didn't react quick enough, and Van Bommel took full advantage out of that. The first half, they've had to be alert, haven't they? Melville and Coleman winning 5 tackles each.
Really, really good from them too. Alan Tate's obviously letting the side down a little bit. But again, the midfield, you get to click into second gear, and they have got few players there, like we said before, and they've got the ability to cause 76 a little bit of trouble. So interesting to see where it does go the second half, because unfortunately, with no disrespect, meant you can't see 76ers hitting another 3 or 4 or something like that. So if they can sort themselves out and put a bit of pressure on, there might be another chance of still getting some out of the game.
It's interesting to see Sigalko's not had a shot.
That's and considering he's had quite a lot of the ball, hasn't he?
Yeah, I was convinced he'd had something. You know, he's been mentioned in that commentary a fair few times. Must just be him knocking it around to other people and laying it off for the other two who were shooting.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought when the goal went in, Del Piero's name were mentioned just before it went in, so I actually thought it was going to be Del Piero that scored it. I thought it was going to be I thought I was going to give Mr. Swan a bit of a commentator's curse by it happens a lot in other leagues as opposed to this when people get talked about. So I will refrain from doing it from the rest of the show about people's goal scoring acumen.
Yeah, don't mention a single person in the Stackington match. That would be great. Into the second half now, and will it be more of the same? We're going to 60 minutes, of course, before our substitutes. And if we're just seeing much more Gondor play, much more Gondor at the moment, they'll be happy with how they're doing at the moment to come back into the game. Damian Lacey's dropped to a 5. Substitute time, we've got Van der Hoon with a groin injury. He'll be coming off. We've been told to manage the substitutes here. Makaleli on a yellow and a thigh injury as well. I think that they'll be the 2 changes. I know it's 2 in the midfield areas, but I think it's needed, isn't it? Lacey might be on a 5, but they need these injured players to come off.
Yeah, well, for me, Lacey, again, it goes back to what I say about DMC's playing in CM. He definitely needs pulling back. If you pull Makaleli off, I'm sure his rating will improve from a 5 from moving back into his natural position.
And Romo's usually one that comes on as a substitute, so it would make perfect sense to do that.
But for me, they don't really look any weaker in that 3 CM positions, and they've got a couple of creative players coming on who can maybe pile the pressure on a little bit more for them.
Yeah, debut for Roberts here. To be honest, I've never seen him in games. It's only recently, like the Wrexham competition and things, where I've seen him for the first time. So I'm intrigued to see how he gets on. For 76ers, we've got the team are doing okay fitness-wise, but they have a couple of things here. So if there's no goal for Sigalko, which there isn't, then bring Kesman on. And alternatively as well, so Rui Costa's come on for the lowest central midfielder. Well, they're all on 7, so to use discretion really and have a look. We got 86, we got 85, and who else have we got here? Who was the other one? Oh, Van Bommel as well, 89.
Yeah, I think it's funny, but they're not really out of second or third gear as well, are they? It looks like they've got plenty more to give.
Yes.
As well.
Well, Nedved's made no key passes, and Riquelme's made 2. So if we're subbing 1, Riquelme's had the chances. Be Nedved as the one withdrawn for Rui Costa, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he's a difficult person to get anything positive out of, as well as Nedved.
I thought you meant the manager.
No, Nedved, I find him very, very difficult to get a consistent tune out of him. So I think that it actually strengthens the 76ers' chances of creating a little bit more, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Rui Costa gets some sort of contribution, as he's shown in almost every game he's played so far in the league for as many teams as he's been playing for. We've got half an hour left, and it's still well poised. Lampard's coming forward, and Gondor really are not out of this game by any means, but they've lost Andy Melville. Dennis Lawrence, the ready-made sub. I mean, Melville was a walking time bomb really in terms of having the yellow card, but he's gone off injured and a knee injury now. So they're getting a few issues, Gondor, in their defence at the moment with keeping players on, but good job they held back a 3rd substitute. And the chances, Van Bommel again with a chance to score. He's he's certainly looked very lively, hasn't he? Kesman puts one wide. We've got about 10 minutes left of this game, and it looks more like 76ers will get a goal now than Gondor, if anything. And we head towards injury time. Another chance being wasted, and another good save from Willie Guerre. He's on target for a man of the match if it's not Cafu. And full time, yep, Willie Guerre steps up to a 9 at the end of the game and takes the man of the match in a fine goalkeeping display, making 7 saves there.
Yeah, I mean, the worrying thing for me there, if you are the 76ers manager, is the amount of good ratings in the side, and not being able to turn it into more than they're getting. It's okay being solid defensively. Yeah, being defensively solid as they have been is really good. But to be continuing to be reliant on the odd goal here and there, I think we just need a little bit more luck going in the favour with that. But end of the day, he's come up against an extremely informed goalkeeper.
Yeah, this Gondor side do have them, don't they? I think if they were to lose Gary and Freestyle at the same time, I don't think De Vries would be quite the same. But yeah, you've got to look at what they've got. I think they've chosen well with the goalkeepers. Yeah, it's a decent performance all around. I mean, you know, Lacey has come in and started putting some tackles in as he moved back into that position. A lot more effective than Makaleli was, even though his rating doesn't quite show it. But yeah, Coleman and Melville, key tackles. Guerre, whatever the key tackle stat is for a goalkeeper there, he's done a good job. He's smothered a lot of chances. And for 76ers, yeah, Cafu, their best player, has he run forward quite a bit? No, he's only made 2 dribbles. Yeah,
Is that the pressure that's been put on them going backwards, though, stopped him from making them charges up the field? He's just got through a heck of a lot of work. He's won all his tackles. He's completed most of his passes. So
yeah.
he's probably just had a busy day. It's probably like a busy night rather than a performance.
Yeah. Nedved, as the substitute was made, Nedved's dropped to a 6 as well, so it made the decision even more validated there, didn't it? Riquelme sticking with an 8 in the end, moving up. And into the next one, Stackinson Collier versus Los Urracas. Now, a much changed Stackinson side from midweek, where they lost to Urracas in the Cup. Being retained in this team so far, I think there's only about 3 players in the starting lineup who are staying the same. Obviously, you can look to the starts of the season: 5-0 defeat, 4 goals conceded, 5, 6, and then the 7-0 win over Danglies was a complete change of fortune, but not getting carried away with it. Obviously, the change of system might make somewhat a bit of a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Olodenkov for a start. I think he's absolutely phenomenal, as we're doing on the current 5-year striker race. It's got this 5-year striker challenge. It's got what's going. He's just had, I think he's had about 34 goal contributions from AMC. He's playing left of 3 AMCs for me, and he's phenomenal. The team itself there is. It's more normalised than we used to seeing Stackinton play. I would say.
Yes.
And it's strong. It's extremely strong in my opinion. Apart from the only thing I'd have probably changed, because I think Romashchenko's got a little bit more further forward play in him. Probably would be Romashchenko and Milevsky on the old switcheroo.
Yeah, it would have been done if Romashchenko hadn't have got such good performances in that position, and Milevsky in his previous game, you know, he'd done a fair job in the centre midfield position there.
But that's for me, from what the Stackinton manager's been playing to looking at this, more likely to get results out of the squad that has got a lot of quality in it, playing something like this as opposed to what they were playing.
You mean the mess?
Well, I don't want to explain it as that. I don't think it was that, because there were. I've done things in testing before games and just left your side as it was, rather than retiring every manager. And just kept it as it was, and it's produced different results to what's actually ended up on the game day. So difficult to say that.
We shall see. We shall see. Lost Araka's last game, obviously the win. They've made minimal changes from the cup game. In fact, from their cup starting lineup, I believe the only change is that Alan Smith has come in after Clivert has been injured. So they've kept with today Newcastle players of Smith, Bowyer, Dyer, Johnson, Woodgate as their 5 that are starting the game. Sort of an anchorish type formation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're looking at the fitness levels and everybody's okay, and you've already played the team in the game previous and beat them, I totally understand why you won't change it up too much. It's a really, really strong looking side. Absolutely love Wilfred Baumer and Duff bombing on them defensive midfield roles. His defence is extremely strong. Maybe apart from Woodgate, I don't think Woodgate's the be all and end all of what he looks like. He's on the game. I think it's pretty difficult to get playing really well. Although against poorer opposition, he's maybe showed his quality in the cup.
Yeah. But thank you. Yeah.
Apologies. I've been the non-league ones, but look at that though. He did get a 9 last time out. Looking at that in the cup as well, so you can't really knock that. And obviously, he's got a lot of creativity going forward. So, especially with the Stackington change of formation, I think this could make for quite an attacking open game.
Let's see how we get on. I mean, last game I called 4 goals plus, and it was 1-0. So I'm not even going to say anything about this one. Let's head in with Peter Bertlin refereeing for today. Chance already coming forward as Kamuna has had one of the first chances. I think it was rather than Kirsten. Might have been wrong. He's very much Stackington so far on the attack, but Araka's, you wouldn't back up against them to break and score something. We've got Araka's on the attack. Keane's having to get heavily involved in goals so far to keep the score down to 0-0. And a goal, it's Ulf Kirsten, the veteran, scores yet again for the side. Keeping Elmer and Van Nistelrooy out of the front line. Van Nistelrooy playing behind the forwards at the moment. And still coming into it, Araka's just getting that bit more in. Alan Smith getting the rebound there. 1-1. Coming towards half-time. They've had another chance and another one that's been spilled, but a good save in the end. A 2-1 to Araka's, and Lee Bowyer has made it 2-1. And Van Nistelrooy comes forward and Romoshenko. And at half-time, we're going to be heading in at 2-1, are we? Yes, it is at 2-1 at half-time. As you said, an entertaining first half. Oh, look at those shooting for Araka's.
Yeah, they've been really there. I mean, you've got a goalkeeper with a name that's used to letting things in, and he's kept things out. And absolutely superb attacking performance from Araka's. Like I say, he's played out the way that I thought it would do, with the attacking natures of both teams. And I'm sure it's a long, long way from being anywhere near a result as we go into the second half.
50-50 in possession, but the action area is very much to me. Araka's, they're not going to have 32% in there if they're not having that many shots, are they? They've done very, very well with their attack. Let's have a look at the goals. Probably a lot of rebounds. We've got a gap with a cross in, and Kirsten's managed to get himself ahead of the goalkeeper to score. Then coming back into it, Keane's made a save, and Smith has smashed in a rebound. And then for another one, we've got Yepes coming forward and playing it into Bowyer for a goal there. So a few different types of goals. And looking at the first half, Stackington, they not really got going, other than there's only 2 of them, and then Kirsten with his goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that bodes well for Stackington. The fact that they did attack quite well and did have a fair few attempts and still not be overly in a position of playing very well. So I always say it's one of them. If you take a keeper out of it, if everybody else can up their rating by 1 in the second half, I definitely think Stackington have got a good chance of getting a result.
Yeah, against a team that have just been battering them so far. But Baumer with 3 chances from wing back.
Yeah, a strange one, especially so you do know that with having no individual player instructions, he hasn't been stuck on long shots. But are you sure you're not playing him at AMC?
Mine is, but
Oh,
this is the
sorry,
Iraqis one, yeah.
yeah. Sorry, apologies. Yeah, it obviously shows that the long arrow is getting him well down the field well, and obviously it looks like a lot of it, if you look at Mike Duff's side, it does look like a lot of it's being played down the left-hand side of the Iraqis play. You've got Lee Bowie, 8 touches. They've not had a lot of the ball either. So considering the minimal amount of ball they've had to create so much,
Yeah, it's been
it's
very
quite.
few passes in the entire game.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I think quite a lot of the games have been like that so far. But to have 11 attempts and 10 on target with such little ball, I think it shows that they're being productive with what they're doing, as opposed to just trying to pass it about and hoof it. Unless the instructions are on a pretty direct instruction or something like that. But no, I think he'll be more than happy with where they played, and if they get the foot on the ball a lot more in the second half, they're obviously showing that they can create enough to maybe clinch the win as well.
Yeah, I think they've got to hope that they don't get too many defensive injuries, though, with the substitutes bench as it is. We'll see how that goes in the second half. Straight away, Araka's on the attack, making it 3-1, and Riquelme has scored. So, it's that little bit of a cushion now is really going to help them out towards the end of the game. Will they do the double over Stackington in a short period of time? We'll get to the substitutes, and it's taking its time to reach it. And Milewski, Pez has dealt with something. Van Nistelrooy having a nightmare this game after last time when he played so well. He's carrying a bit of a knock, isn't he? A thigh injury. So the chance here, the substitute would be in this position is Song, and he's going to come on into the attacking midfield position. And in terms of anything else, we've got Kirsten is tired. He might have scored his goal, but he's a bit tired, and he's going to be the other substitute there. And Yavin will come on.
Yeah, I think Teddy Sheringham didn't get the league Zimmer frame to him in time for this game. So
the 36-year-old, yes. For Arakas, Riquelme on 31% is going to be withdrawn. There's definitely something happened to him at the beginning of the second half. So Riquelme in the position wise, that's Selakovic, isn't it, in that position?
Yeah, I'd have said so for definite, or Robert and switch him about. But Selakovic is more than capable of playing.
Yeah, he's played central, doesn't he? So he's that. Otherwise 85. I mean, would you if Woodgate was injured? He's not injured. He started off at 96, so he'll continue. Just the one change for Arakas. So, is there any chance Stackington can get back into this, or if Araka's got the game sewn up? We shall see if anything happens at all in the last 15 minutes of the game. Sit back and relax, everyone. Again, with something coming for Romashchenko and Balmer, but very, very little going on towards the end of the match. We've got chances for Njai. Comfortable seeing out the victory there for Arakas. Attacking midfield wise, it did not go that well for Stackington in the end. Didier Agat, man of the match, and that probably tallies with that what you said about Balmer in the first half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it was an extremely quick last quarter, wasn't it? So I think, when you look at that from the half time, they've only had another 2 attempts of Arakas, and one of them on target, and unfortunately, with a goal.
It's gone in. Unfortunately for Stackington, but certainly not for Dan Hazard, deserved victory. I'll put that out there now.
Well, but you can see why Agat may have got the man of the match when you're looking at the extra attempts and the extra attacking play that Stackington showed in the second half as well, trying to get back into the game. I just think the game went the way sort of expected, really. Pretty attacking, quite a few goals, and it were, unfortunately for the Stackington inside, it were the Iraqis who came out on top.
Yeah, they've performed extremely well there in the end. Balmer with the assist for a Riquelme goal just before he went off injured. Stackington, they just didn't have anything in the attack, did they? I mean, Kirsten they've had a lot of shots, but they haven't done a lot with them. Yeah, Kirsten with his goal. Agat having to defend. Well, he's not really put the tackles in. So where's it come from? Where's the 8 come from?
Unless he's just bombing on, trying to create things. But yeah, probably a little bit disappointing in Volodenkov. I sort of give him a little bit of a boost before the game. Is it positional? I've never really had him on a wing as opposed to say it's normally been AM or DM. So, and yeah, he's centre halves. They've had and Dye. It's not unlike him to only win 50% of his tackles, so may have contributed slightly to letting the Iraqis get on top.
And Iraqis have just done everything they needed to do. They might have gone behind early on, but they've reacted to that and shown that they were the better team.
Yeah, I mean, there's more 8s than not in there across the board there, so it shows they've been really solid and really, really completed everything they've done to a really high standard. I'm sure Dan will be really, really happy with that. And in a season that has been, for me, I think it's been fairly decent for Dan so far.
Yeah, they've got a lot to celebrate. A cup final coming up soon for them as well. Into your match then, Steve, up against the Jers. And we'll just check. I think your contracts have been offered, haven't they? Yeah, they've been offered to the players. Not been so great recently, but you know, it's a team that's much better than the league position suggests. But what have you done today?
I think I've played into the hands of a reputation I seem to have outside the league, if I'm honest. I have played about with it a little bit in this game, and it did okay. So I thought, let's have a go.
Yeah, and it's it's playing to the enforced rules of the game, isn't it? And I know you'd probably much rather playing a 2 at the back kind of system.
Yeah, well, I think every man on the dog would have been. But going back to what we said sort of when I was talking about Del Piero, about saying I don't think players offer much. So I don't think Nikiforenko's any good. I don't think Tom is any good. I don't think Ronaldinho's any good. So I'm just trying to put my own curse on them to lift us out of this mess that we're in at the minute.
Yeah, and your entire team have played so poorly. Is that what you're about to say now?
Fair enough.
We'll see how you get on today against a team that really have been, generally playing pretty well. They're up in 5th. They've got 10 points, including some decent results. They got certainly 5 in one game. Last time losing to Trumpton, it's absolutely that result at the time might have been not a great result against Grove, but I think it's actually a good result against Grove, isn't it?
Yeah, especially away from home.
Yeah.
Obviously, Grove have grown. They'll fight at home. I like the setup. I'm pleasantly surprised to see a lack of a DMC, if I'm honest, with the stupid way that I've lined up. But there's a lot of quality there.
There is.
Up top when you've got Elbear on the bench, maybe helping me slightly a little bit as well. But the back line is completely solid, isn't it? You've got 4 of the best on the game across there with one of the best keepers as well. So it's going to be an extremely tough game. And I've probably gone a little bit too stupid against one of the better sides, if I'm honest.
Last time, a substitute there at half-time from Frey going off for Kiotis as an enforced sub with the rules of Ross Swallow. We'll see if he can get through the first half unscathed this time. So, into the game, Tony Reedon refereeing, and a gusty, wet 31 degrees. What a great set of weather we've got. Well, Tom Madeira has been causing problems as Walter Samuel takes a yellow card for De Gers really early on. Nikiforenko involved. You've got certainly those front 3 are putting themselves about a bit. Ronaldinho coming inside, and then Riquelme with a chance. Oh, it's all Radaby at the moment. As straight away going forward there, Taribo West takes a yellow card on one of the very first De Gers attacks. And Kivu now making another of the defences out. And a punch from Totti. I think he's punched Oliver Kahn and been sent off as they've taken the lead. I don't know what's gone on, but that's some complete madness from Totti.
I think he knows my opinion of him outside the league, and he's probably just lost his head in some sort of way, shape, or form. Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed so far.
After that, I mean, all Radaby, wasn't it? We'll head back into the game. We just switched to the two centre mid set up till half time at least. There's yeah, the game's gone very quiet, and I think probably a bit of shock there. Veron with a chance, Riquelme coming forward, and Riquelme taken out. At that point, they're battering, but without getting the shots on target, which is that regular problem at the moment. We see at half time they got a late chance. It's 0-0 at half time. Ronaldinho, your standout player, whereas for the other side there are just two of them on 8. So yeah, not the greatest first half, but quite entertaining.
Oh yeah, it's a bit. It looked like on the commentary that it were a little bit better than that. It does baffle you sometimes, the game, doesn't it? When you see quite a lot of what's going on, and then you do look at the stats and you think,
It's all just sort of outside the box stuff, really, isn't it? It's probably much more of it being played here with your team with the ball.
And then it looks like to me, if I've had 61% of possession, it just looks like that my centre backs, with the ball being in my area there, my centre backs are just playing tippy tappy with each other, probably.
Yeah, it reminds me of that Simpsons clip where they've got the football match on. That's how I view that game so far. Yeah, so Aymar gets the ball. Zarazu to Aymar, just keeps running unchallenged, and then yep, Totti punching Oliver Kahn just as the ball's I don't know, as Kahn got the ball in his hands and Totti's just getting irritated. I don't know, but his team's just scored and they've conceded that. Not a lot of passing going on. Ronaldinho and Veron involved, but nobody else really bothering.
No, I'm definitely making changes here. Zinone only stayed in the team because he got a 10, I think, prior, or 9. So yeah, so he's going to be coming out. I will need to look at the tactic though, to what I'm going to do with it. Yeah. Right. Can I have David Collins for Zinone, please? And shift him up at side of Veron. And yeah, and then arrows on him, and then Tomasi in middle. There we go.
And for the Jers, with their usual setup, we've got here that it's 5 or belows at half time. So we'll see Zanetti coming off this time for them. He's won 2 tackles out of 3. He's completed half his passes, and he's made a foul. He's not had the greatest game so far, but it will be a loss all the same. And Okoronkwo is the man to come on, really, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the only one there that. Well, he's the only defender for a start, but he has got the left, right, centre in his locker as well.
Yeah, shows why he's there, doesn't it? And we'll go into the second half. Off we go. We've got certainly attacks on for the Jers. There's 2-0 as Ian Robin gets that second goal and certainly puts his team in command. For Radaby, we're heading in towards 60 minutes. They're going to have to look at getting back into this game at some point soon. Collins with a chance. Tomadera pulls one back, and we have a 2-1 game as we go into the substitute time. And for Dalgety Rangers, it's not condition-wise, it's just rating-wise. And it's anyone of 6 or under at this point, I believe. 6 or under. Just to check on the list. Yep, 6 or below. So just the other substitute. Well, Aymar scored, so it will be Agahauer coming off, and Agahauer will come off for Nikiforenko, the obvious choice in that position. So for them, they've made the changes. Steve?
Yeah, let's have a look at that. I might as well have a look at it while I'm.
You've got no one carrying any injuries as such.
No, and it's showing that my my defenders are not doing too much as well. No, we just got back into it. Let's roll with it.
That phrase of "we go again." They've pulled one back so far. Tomadera is getting much more involved in the game. And it's going to be pretty tense towards the end of this match. I think there's a lot of end-to-end play. Some more shots coming in on target. We've got Ronaldinho getting more involved again. He's had another chance there, I think. Collins, it's all names. Tomadera, and we've got chances down at the other end. As soon as one comes at one end, they're down at the other end with Broczek and Tomadera going forward. Frey with the save. Nikiforenko involved, and a chance, and Tomadera gets the equaliser with just over 5 minutes left, and back again with the chance to make it 3-2 now, but not quite going for them. Nikiforenko with a chance, and then into the last seconds of the game, a chance, and he's 3-2. Nikiforenko for the Jers has made it 3-2 with the last chance of the game, and will the sock be coming back out tonight, Steve?
Look at that again. This is a common problem. Well, it hasn't been in the last couple of weeks of this, but it's been a common problem in a lot of the games. Left yourself too open massively against a quality side. Back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board. Possession-wise, edged it. Got a little bit more going attacking-wise, but take a look at our match report for the second half. We've got plenty of stuff going on. We had the early goal for Robin, which was a rebound that's fallen to him for a Khan save from Aymar. And then, this time around, Collins with the shot, Frey with the parry, and Tomadera puts it in. Then for the equaliser, with not long to go, we've got Veron with a header down for a Tomadera volley. That sounds like a great goal there. And the winning goal, we've got Broczek playing it in, and Nikiforenko just getting there ahead of Oliver Kahn for it. You must be more pleased with the second half than the first half, though.
No. Well, no, not really, because I've had another 10 attempts on goal and 7 of them on target, and got 1 goal to show for it. So, no, not pleased at all.
With Taribo West winning some challenges, I mean, Zanoni did certainly let the team down, and the moving forward for a bit more attacking in the second half gave something towards the team. But for it's a solid defensive performance for the Jers players, despite conceding 2 goals. Great amount of tackles in from Walter Samuel, Kivu with plenty of challenges, but they've just had more efficient shooting, haven't they, I guess?
I mean, to be fair, if I've had 11 shots on target, Sebastian Frey is only on an 8. There's something overly wrong there. But yeah, you look at Samuel there, winning 10 of 15 challenges. You've got 8, 9, 8 from his defenders. They played extremely well, even though they conceded that amount of chances. It's a bit frustrating, but they've had to play out of the skin to get that result. Looking at that, and we go again
into the final match, and it's your second team. A lot of people's second teams, Football Club de Danglies. I don't know if you know, but they've made quite the change to their system from the horrific sweeper system defeat of 7-0 in the Tony Warner 2 in the previous.
I did actually get told last night that he's playing 4-4-2. Is that right?
4-4-2 has come out, and it is a much stronger lineup than we've seen before.
I still think there maybe a couple of players that should be playing, if off the top of my head. Obviously, going to centre midfield, isn't he? I mean, it's obviously a little stronger. I'm not a massive fan of forwards being back in midfield in terms of looking at Diouf there. I maybe might have been slightly tempted in a David Thompson there, Biscan central, and Diouf behind. But it's a lot stronger than he's played before, and a result will come at some time. And let's hope it's tonight for him.
Against the league leaders, it would be quite the task, wouldn't it? Over the course of the season, 1 goal took them about is it something like 200 minutes of football to get the first shot? But they have scored a goal. They have got one.
It's why they're loved by the masses.
Yeah, and I think the sub keeper has been dropped. Dirk Kuyt has been dropped in favour of a real goalkeeper. This time around of Rayner on the bench. So yeah, Mr. Wood has made quite the change, and it should have an impact on the Dangley season. For them, they really hope it will be. But up against this team in the lead of the league, I mean, benefiting from a red card last time. Certainly, I think 1-0 down in the red card, but otherwise, the season's been flawless.
Yeah, they've been superb. I mean, look at that, 2 goals conceded. That's a real strong defensive effort against some really good sides. Apart from the one that played first game of the season, you can't not the effort that they're putting in. Again, they were one of the ones with 76s in testing that were more than up there, and you can't complain with the way they're playing. Obviously, this formation has been played quite regular throughout both divisions. It's really attacking, but when you look at the spine of you've obviously got Vieira, Said, and then you've got them 3 centre halves, you can see why they've been so strong defensively.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a strong team. Graham Dunning's managed his team particularly well this season so far. They'll be looking, of course, to make it 6 out of 6, and Dangley's will be looking to make it a point at least off the board. I think Wooder for the rest of the season is looking at 100% record. He's wanting to go and take this league by storm now. So let's see how Mikael Hansen handles this game in another gusty match, but without the rain. From Castle Grayskull, of course. And a chance straight away coming to the Blues. They're looking like they're still going to be on the attack against the revitalised Angles. 1-0 though, and Patrick Vieira gets the opening goal. So looking like the Blues will be retaining their place at the top of the league. At the end of this round, Nikiforenko with a chance. Dangley still yet to get into this game at all. Totti coming forward as well. So yeah, the Blues looking like they're going to just take a full advantage of this match as it is so far. Protest turned down though. I think we'll have to have a look at what it was that happened in that time there. But Totti with a chance to come forward, blocked out, and Said van Nistelrooy with a chance. Nikiforenko and Walter Samuel makes it 2-0. It had been coming. And Nikiforenko just off target as we go into half time. Just going to take a look at that match report around 30 minutes or so. It was a claim for a penalty of Barros being brought down by Buffon, and nothing happened from that. Quick look at the goals. We've got Lucio playing it up towards Vieira, and Vieira getting the first one. So a very defensive attacking one there. And Nikiforenko's header saved by Dudek and followed up by Walter Samuel. But again, Dangley's no shots.
Yeah, they've had to soak up a hell of a lot of pressure, and I think the thing that might be hindering them a little bit, again, it goes back to me, even though I'm no expert considering my season, Biscam being a DM, playing him in centre midfield, I think they would have found themselves a little bit more solid if they'd have had Biscam back and played 3 across the midfield. But, they've not been disgraced as yet, considering. They've been fighting. They've not had too much less of the ball. Let's hope for I'm sure they've got improvements in them, and it's nice to see we've got a keeper that's on a 7 as well.
Well, yeah, I mean 5 there. I mean that's quite high for a lowest rated player for this team, isn't it? So,
but yeah, still, I think they still might have had a little bit more solidness with Biscam sat in front of the defenders. But I'm sure he'll just keep going and going and going, and it will turn around for him at some point.
Yeah, and they'll be ruining that turn down penalty decision, which, as far as the report was just fairly clear cut that Buffon had taken Barros down, but nothing coming of it. And the Blues, they've had a first half where the players are on form.
Yeah, I mean Vieira is showing his class on the game across both divisions. My lack of form, etc., is showing that he's strong for everybody, and he's vital to any side that's wanting to be successful. It looks like they've had a lot of the ball and not done too much with it. It looks like they could have gone for the jugular a little bit more, considering. But they've been solid, and with the couple of 8s and 9 in there, a couple of people standing above, so it's probably a little bit better than solid if unspectacular. But it does seem like they've got another gear if needs be.
And we'll see if they can get into that gear in this second half. We've had a very quiet start to it again. And they're coming towards substitute times. Nikiforenko makes it 3-0, and the game is, essentially over, isn't it now? Substitution time. It's just the simple rule of bad or tired at 60 minutes. It's worked well through this season. We've got Robin, who would classify as tired, will be removed. Zé Roberto's not a bad substitute to bring on, though, is he?
Certainly not. He's superb in there. I know you've got Zambrota there, but who would have probably started off Agawa, in my opinion, but you can't knock Agawa being on an 8. But yeah, he's one of my favourite players on the game, Zerbo, without a shadow of a doubt.
He's just an assist machine, isn't he? So 2 substitutes made. Bad or tired at 60. We got Bad of Van Nistelrooy on the 6 compared to his teammates, and tired of Robin carrying that injury. So we go into the final half hour. Dangley's not a team to make substitutes. They don't make plans either. So forward into the last 25 minutes or so, nothing happening for Dangley still. I'm not sure if they've had a shot at all. Bischan's taken their first yellow card of the game. Maybe they could have put a few more in and stopped the attacks a bit more. But it just seems like the Blues still pushing for a 4th goal. Jansen Totti, there he is. He gets that goal number 4. Taribo West takes the yellow card for them, though, and we go into injury time, chasing a 5th goal. And it's not to be for them, because 4-0 it stays. And Dangley's, the performance is much improved, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they've had to play really well of Blues to get that 4-0 when you look at the 8s and 9s there. I don't think Wood would be disappointed, because if you focus on the team performance, they've just had a lot of chasing of shadows to do, but it looks of it, and they've done really well. So a bit more disappointing they didn't show a little bit more going forward, but again, difficult to, you can't pull them apart or anything when they've got a near enough 6s and 7, well, mainly 7s.
Almost all 7s, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one, really. I don't think that's a 4-0 result without, if the Blues players didn't play to their expected potential, there could have been a bit of a banana skin there if they had a few performances.
But luckily for the Blues, they've taken full advantage and kept that 100% record up there. Agahawa doing a lot of the work there for Nikiforenko, who's just managed to get himself in some good space and score the opening goal. And then the 4th one, Nikiforenko again involved, setting up Vieri, and Vieira has laid it on a plate for Totti, and he has scored the 4th goal. Yeah, that Dangley's performance is pretty strong with 8 7s in it. Players winning tackles, Bischan being quite a key player in the middle of that midfield, and Steve Harkness coming in and doing a decent job with his tackles.
Yeah, I don't think that deserves a 6 either from Steve Harkness. Jimmy Traore, who doesn't know his legs from his legs, probably does only when he's at 6. But yeah, I think it's a bit harsh on Steve Harkness there as well.
Yeah, they'll be wondering, can Tony Warner just be the missing piece of this jigsaw to get them their point when he's back from his suspension? And yeah, they have had to play very well, haven't they, the Blues? But at the same time, they're well worth being in the lead of the league table.
But if I were the Blues manager there, and you take the 4-0 out of it, and how well you've had to beat the bottom place side, is it a little bit concerning that they're going to have to put, it's hard to get better performances than that against some of the better sides throughout the rest of the season?
It's a fair question to ask, and we'll let's have a quick look at their results, I suppose, at the end to see just who they've beaten so far. Has it been easier fixtures, or have they maybe taken it to the best of them as well? We'll go into just have a quick check of that actually straight away for the Blues. Their fixtures: Radaby, 76ers, Ortiz, Iraq. They've played some good teams. Yeah, they've done very well. Into those results, it's been a day, as we'd expect from league table positions, being a day for the away teams. Round here, getting the solitary non-victory. I should have said Grove got the solitary point for the home teams, really. But yeah, interesting set of results today, going with form mainly.
Yeah, it's obviously gone as form, like you say.
Just aside from this one.
Yeah, big result there for Matt. We're obviously disappointed with the way we've played. Not with the way we've played, the way that we haven't converted chances yet again. That needs seriously looking at. I don't know how, when we put 24 players up top, I don't know how you can counter them not putting ball in the back of the net. But we'll see what. Can we have a quick look at the fixtures for next time out?
We shall do, yes. After we've had a look at this league table, we'll go into the fixtures definitely. And we see there 100% record still for the Blues, plus 14 goal difference. Atletico New Mills, a plus 18 goal difference, just 2 points behind. And Trumpton, coming away with defeat for the first time this season at the expense of a very good Real E side who have come into that. Maracas and 76ers next up. Again, still the goals just not really appearing at that stadium too much this season. Radaby still with your positive goal difference and still with a good cushion over that. You're plus 3, next team behind is minus 11. I mean, it's not going to be turned around at any point soon. But then, the bottom 4, Grove, who, they're just getting better. Gondor, who, produced a decent performance today as well. And then Otis and Danglies, 2 big defeats for them. They're cast a little bit adrift of other sides, but things will turn around. And into those fixtures for next time, let's see what we're up to. Blues versus Trumpton. If Trumpton had won their match, we'd have been up against a 100% record against each other in this one. Look at the table again, showing the top half taking on pretty much the bottom half, other than Trumpton and 76ers turning around. 76ers versus Stackington. So your team away to Real E.
Well, I've really got no chance by the looks of it, haven't I? So we'll try a few things out during the course of the period that we've got to pick a team, and I'm sure we'll come up with something else that looks ludicrous until we do settle down.
Yeah, I mean, if the team doesn't go up first season, only 3 teams can go up. Maybe this is a season to experiment and find that thing for the big push next season. You never know; it might be what works out. But it's still only early days. It's we've still got 20 games left in the season. There is still a good chance. Into the player stats, the Atleti, Ruud van Nistelrooy. I mean, look at the Atleti ratings there. Top 3, Ruud van Nistelrooy leading the way. In the goals, Van Nistelrooy is 3 of the top 5 in the division there with his goals here for Atleti, really, and Roundhay, scoring 16 between the top 3 Van Nistelrooys. Penalties, Ibrahim Said for the Blues has got 2. And in the assists there, Roundhay's Riquelme on 5 assists for the season so far. And Veron is just contributing assists wherever he is. For yellow cards, Patrick Vieira 5 in 6 games. We've got Cannavaro on 4, but I think 2 of those might well have been in the same red card. And red cards, of course, we've now got 10 red cards for the season after we saw the Adamidis one today. And the one for, was it just the 1 red card in games today?
Adamidis and Totti today.
Totti's punch. Yeah, we'll have to see how he gets on with that one. Of course, how could we forget that one? Steve Phillips still up there, man of the matches with Van Nistelrooy top. And that's it for the statistics. Team of the week for today sees Willie Guerre of Gondor in goal.
Well, it's unsurprising considering the onslaught that he dealt with. You can see that you can see why the players that are in there, how come on. Obviously, Ryan Giggs came on for really, it made a massive difference. And then obviously you've got the athletic players who probably due to a second half performance played themselves into contention for being the side.
Yeah, it's one of the teams really that have been performing particularly well. I mean, look at Michael Hughes in the team of the week. It's great to see him still performing well. Daniel Bent for the OTs on the bench with his 2 goals. It's small consolation, isn't it, for the team yet to get their first point. I think we've had Tony Warner in the team of the week squad as well for Dangley's at one point. But yeah, just leaving you with the fixtures for next time. Steve, pleasure to have you on. Sorry your team couldn't get a win for you today.
It's always a pleasure, never a chore, apart from the game itself. So we'll just see where we go next time out. But thanks for having me on again.
Not a problem. I'm sure we'll see you again soon on this one. And to everyone else at home, thank you very much. Goodbye.